Hi, I'm Karen Hutton, and I thought I would step up and introduce myself. My rather unconventional life and career path hasn't exactly followed a straight line. I've been a horse trainer and a riding instructor, a figure skater, a dancer, an actor, a voiceover artist, a broadcast and talent coach, a speaker, a storyteller, and above and through it all, a photographer. Hey, I'm Karen Hutton, and I'm a landscape photographer. Truthfully, I'm just a photographer. I love to shoot, period. But I'm best known for my landscapes. So, welcome to my world. I think one of the reasons why photography has become just so popular and so important to everyone is it's a way to tell our stories. I think photography enables us to reach our own soul, to share our own spark of divine fire, but also to share it with others. Personally, I approach photography as art. We have an opportunity as photographers to tell a story. Story is huge. So if you're not telling stories with your photos, what are you doing? I think art and photography as art lets us experience our own spark of divine fire. Art lets us dream. When we're dreaming, working on our photos, taking our photos in that kind of right brain falling leaf zone, we have an opportunity to dream of something different. All this goodness that's inside of us can come through in our art, and then I think when it really truly does, I think it starts to go out into our lives, and I think it starts to change us. I think the sense of being happy, feeling fulfilled, having this moment where we get to just be and say and do as we want to, and not somebody else. I think those moments are where we truly experience freedom. And I think in our art, if we can find that, I think it changes our life, because you experience it in one place, it becomes the place you want to be, and you start finding ways to bring it into all of your life, and that's when it can change everything. My photography chops come from, 30 years ago, studying classical photography, black and white, dark room, mixing my own chemicals, choosing my own paper, choosing the combinations of the chemicals and the paper and the time and even the equipment. Everything had an effect on your finished product. All the disciplines I've ever learned in my life all factor into what is possible now. So I think the more well-rounded we are as humans, the more we have to bring to this sport, to this art form of photography. I have a great friend, Keoki Flagg, who is a fine art and extreme sports photographer whose work I love, and he has a definition for what makes art. He says the three things that basically, make photography art is it original? Is it emotional? Is it timeless? Now you'll hear me talk all the time about point of view, about how you feel, your vision of the world. Since I was classically trained, the first thing they beat into your head is composition. What are you looking at? What's the story? How are you going to frame it? Are you going to crop it? But the thing about composition is, when you look at a scene and you imagine 10 photographers all lined up to take that picture, are you going to take the same shot they are? I'll lower my camera. I'll raise my camera. I'll look up. I'll turn it. I'll hold it sideways. Go vertical. Top down. Anything to try and pull something different out of the shot. It's all about the story. The story changes in life as well as photography as soon as you change how you look at something. Perspective. So here's the thing. In the 30 some odd years that I've been teaching everything that I've ever learned, one of the most powerful things I've learned is, as a teacher, is to build my obsolescence into my students' needs. What I mean is that my students shouldn't need me for the rest of their life. They should only need me for a period of time, and if I've done my job in a fairly short amount of time, they should be able to take that, take it out into the world, create their own, whatever it is, and move on from there. Not to say that we can't communicate, not to say that we can't stay in touch and build upon that, but I don't want people needing me for the rest of their dang lives. You know what I'm saying? You know how I'm always talking about story and photography? And I am, because it is important. The reason being is because communication is important. In everything I've ever done, it almost all boils down to clear communication. And in photography, all we have is our image. We have the vision in our mind, the composition we make, the processing we do later. That is our communication. We have one chance to make a first impression. We have one chance to grab our audience, really. And the power of your ability to communicate through this medium is what makes or breaks it. Anyway, I was going somewhere, so I'm going to keep going. Bye. Now then, off the topic of anything we've talked about thus far, I know you're going to ask me what camera I use. Okay, we all ask each other that. That's why I know you're going to ask that. So my answer to you is the Canon 5D3 and the Canon 6D. I use a 14mm prime, a 100mm macro 2.8 Series 2. I use this is a 24-70 2.8 Series 2. I also have a 70-200 2.8. My husband mostly uses that right now. And I'm using more of a 70-300, which is a 3.5 to 5.6. Better on my elbow, it's a little lighter, easier to travel with. That's pretty much my rig. I love other lenses. I would like to have a Sherpa to carry many other lenses and cameras for me and hand them to me when I need them. But more than that, carry them. So, post-processing. Me and post-processing were like this. I kid you not. In fact, I love it. It's soothing to me. It helps me fulfill the vision I had in the camera. I grew up in a family of artists, so I don't have a problem creating a vision through my art, through my photography. So, I've kind of like two areas though. I have a side of my work where I don't process it as much. It's much more natural. Contrast, sharpening, single exposure, boom. That's more like the classical side of me. Then there's the part where I get my inspiration from the bones. I may just have the bones of a photo, meaning the parts are there, but maybe it was missing the sky. You know, it's not the sky's fault, it was just missing. So it's my job to bring it in. I say this kiddingly, but I really don't mind making a better sky. I may add some color, I may change a few things about it to make it match my vision, but then it's mine. It's like I painted it, and I can't paint. I can't draw. It's very frustrating. So I do photography, and I love to post-process for all of those reasons. And that's what I have to bring to you.